So this year marks the retirement of quite a lot of sets, including this one, the Mandalorian N-1 Starfighter, which is retiring in July 2026. Let's have a quick look at it before it goes. Let's get bricking it. So, is it a weird choice for LEGO to retire this? Given that the Mandalorian and Grogu film's coming out, I would say, based on the trailers, probably not a weird choice actually, because they are bringing in a new Razor Crest for the film, and we're looking to get a new Razor Crest LEGO set potentially, from what the rumours say. So it's not a huge surprise the M1 Starfighter is going to be off the shelves, but it'd be interesting to see if it turns up in the film. It is a great set. It's a shame they didn't do a UCS version of it, in my opinion. So let's talk about this model, shall we? 412 pieces. It doesn't feel like a huge set, but equally it doesn't feel tiny either. For the piece count, I expect it to feel a lot smaller than it does. It's not the most exciting Star Wars build to put together, I'm not going to lie. The fun part for me was building the engines. They're quite a cool thing to put together. I mean, obviously you've got to build two of them, so it can be a bit repetitive to some people, but I quite like the printed tiles on the front there, you can see, and also some of the cool greebling inside. Just looks pretty funky to me. Also, you've got your little pod here for Grogu to sit in at the top before Mando obviously changed it for the droid to go back in, and you've got your cockpit piece there. The only thing that's annoyed me a little bit is this hasn't been anywhere near the sun. It's just been on a shelf in a sort of cupboard room as such for a little while, but the pieces have kind of gone a little bit cloudy. I have had it a couple of years, of course. That's the only gripe with this set, really. Other than that, I think it's a good set. It's not the cheapest in the world. As it stands at the moment, you can still buy this. It's obviously retiring in July, so if you do want to get it and you're a fan of The Mandalorian, pick it up fast. But it's currently $59.99 from LEGO. It's still its full price on lego.com. You can pick it up for about £40 to £50 on Amazon, depending on where you are in the world. And there are other people selling it on third-party websites and obviously eBay, depending on what price bracket you go for there and whether it's got the figures in it or not. So yeah, pretty cool ship. The design's pretty smart. It's not the most detailed in the world. It would have been cool if they did a UCS set. I think the wings are a bit flat. They could have done a bit more with that. It obviously looks, obviously it's Lego, but it looks very flat and Lego-y, and the bottom kind of looks a bit unfinished, really. It would have been quite smart, especially as they went to the trouble to do the kind of curved bits at the bottom on the front here and on the front there. It would have been quite smart if they'd built up the wings a little bit, because obviously in the film they aren't just flat panels, they are a bit chunkier, and of course, sorry, in the show, and also it would have been quite nice if they'd included some actual kind of silvery pieces on it. Not loads, you know, I'm not talking let's cover the whole thing in, you know, your lacquered pieces, but it would have been quite smart to have a couple on here, because at the minute it is just grey, and of course we all know, although it's a beaten up old stripped down N1 Starfighter, it is silver. So it would have been a bit nicer. Obviously you've got a couple of the yellowy bits there to show it used to be, you know, the Naboo ones. It's got its sort of cool supercharged jet going on at the back there as well. You've got your funky kind of thing. Now this is quite cool actually, because if you like sort of playing with these figures, obviously it's got lots of swooshability, you know, pretty cool. It does have a little bit here. You can put one of the little red missiles in, press this down, and it will shoot out. I don't tend to keep mine in for display purposes, but obviously each to their own there. You've got this little tail element here at the back, one of these kind of rubbery ones that's quite bendy, which feels a bit flimsy when you put it together, but actually the amount of times I've knocked the back of it against a wall when trying to put it on a shelf and it hasn't snapped off or broke or popped off because it's rubber and it's not just your you know, a solid piece that could fall off. So that's pretty smart. And this bit always feels a bit flimsy as well. You've got, oh, there we are, look, see, case in point, it falls off quite easily, even though it's rubber apparently, but you've got this little bit here which you kind of have to have at an angle to make it look like a kind of a skeleton version of the ship. So yeah, I do think it could have been nice if it was a bit bulkier. I'm not talking loads more pieces, but if it was like a 600 piece set and you had the wings built up a bit more. I've seen some mocks, they're about 600-700 pieces, and they look fantastic. And I appreciate it would have been a bit more money from LEGO, but yeah, it would have been nice. Build wise, yeah, good. It's quite sturdy. Obviously, as I said, it's not the most exciting one to put together, but it is quite fun. There's a couple of bits here which are pretty smart. So let's talk about a couple of the quick features on this. I'm totally honest, there aren't loads of features on this. We've talked already about the missile shooting at the front. There's not really much else it does apart from the cockpits coming up and down. You do have this little bit on top. If I can show you that. It's just a little, like you get with some of the sets now. You've got a little place to store stuff. I've just put a couple of the spare bits in there. Also had enough bits to make a spare Darksaber. And this is before they made the actual angle blade one. So you have got that. I'm just going to go on to the minifigures now very quickly. So I'm just going to pull up my Wicked Brick stand here. So you can see you have got Mando, you've got Pelimotto, you've got Grogu, and you've got the little BD droid as well. That's interesting on the LEGO website that they haven't called him BD1. Now, I know we all like BD1, and I kind of hoped when I saw The Mandalorian that it was him in some format, and he wound up in that part of the, you know, the galaxy after his adventures with Cal. But on the LEGO website, they just call it BD droid. So it's obviously a generic one, potentially, or they're not really, you know, being too open about whether he is supposed to be him or not. It might be up to interpretation. Pelimotto looks quite cool. I put some pictures on of her. She's got double face, you know, a kind of a smile and a more open smile, so nothing too crazy, but her hair's pretty cool. I'll show you again some pictures of that as well. She's got a little utility belt. Grogu's just your classic little teeny weeny Grogu with his little rubbery ears. And with the Mando, this was when the sets got quite cool, because before this set came out, he just had a black basic head, nothing on it, no printing, no kind of head printing at all, and of course he had the more grey armour, and as the series went on, he's got a bit more detail with the figures they brought out. This one's cool because under his helmet, again I'll put some pictures up here, but he has got a face. It's only a one-sided one, which is that I was hoping he'd have a couple more expressions, but I suppose we don't see his face much in the programme, so why would he have more than one expression on the Lego figure? Looks cool, looks a bit Pedro Pascal-y, you know, he's got his stubble and his face looks a bit kind of grizzled and cross, but yeah, and he's got his jetpack for the first time, which is quite smart. Before this model came out, as far as I know, we didn't really have the jetpack on there as well, the Mando jetpack, so it looks cool. And of course on the printing, his printing's pretty decent actually. He's got a lot of the silvery kind of Beskar armour going on there, so that's quite smart. So all in all, yeah, I'd say if you can get hold of this set for 50 quid or under, it is a good one for the collection. Obviously, it's retiring in July, so you haven't got long. It has actually been out longer than I expected. It has been out since 2022, which is crazy to think it's been out for 4 years at this point nearly. By the time it retires, it will have been. In terms of the rest of the model, there's not much else to say on it really. A bit of detail in there, a little bit of greebling, but not much. It's a fairly basic looking one. I think if you're a mock builder or you're someone who can take one of these and turn it into something cooler, then go for it. Fill your boots. It's a great looking set anyway. But I would probably say it's not worth full 60 quid. That's quite expensive. If you can get it for 50, 40, go for it. Finally, I just want to quickly talk about the stand I got for it here from Wicked Brick. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to do a video about this in a bit more detail later on, but this is a Wicked Brick stand. So I've got this here. It comes with this little plaque at the front. You probably can't see it very well there on the camera, but it basically tells you how many pieces. I'll put some pictures up on that. You've got some little studs for the characters to stand on, and you've got a separate piece here. You can put the actual ship on. Now this one's designed quite specifically to kind of fit so that the characters sit underneath where the ship goes. You can of course take them away or have them in the ship, but it's a cool stand made of acrylic. It's got a little logo piece on the front there with a little Lego brick, and of course you've also got the option to angle it in different ways, have it, you know, if you want to, going down like that, but this is the classic way to have it really put, and it's quite a good little stand. It's well made. It is currently about £30 on Wicked Brick. So it's not the cheapest of stands. You can get other brands a bit cheaper. There's also a company called Unique Displays I toured around with. They're £13.99, so literally less than half the price of Wicked Brick. But the Wicked Brick ones just seem really cool, and the plaques look good, and they just have that slight detailing to the stands that look really smart. And this on the shelf looks really cool, goes really well with my other Mando sets. So I just wanted to bring attention to that. I will do a proper video about the stands, but in the meantime, we haven't got many more months this being around, so please let me know in the comments what you think. Is this a great set? Do you have it? Do you think it's worth it for the piece count? Is it a bit twee? Would you prefer like a mock built version or even a UCS set of this if they brought one out one day? Or are we going to completely gun away from this and go for the Razor Crest sets? Because obviously both Razor Crest sets that have come out so far, if we don't count the little micro Starfighter one, are really strong sets. Even the one that was £150, I've got that one, that's brilliant. If you can't afford the UCS one, that was a great set to have. But this is great, it's a good one. It doesn't take up as much space on your shelf. Even if you don't have it on a stand, it's not terrible, it's good, but it does look a bit flat if you're not on a stand. So I would definitely say if you can do that, go for it. In the meantime, keep bricking it guys. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this set, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!